Hey everybody, it's your Alex Bigley. It's been a long time. I've been working. Um, More working than working it. Regardless, as you can tell by the title of the video, I am trying to do something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. Ever since I was about 19 years old, I've had ideas for making t-shirts, whether it's funny, meaningful, or whatever. And for the past maybe 5 to 10 years, I would say, I've had, or probably less than that, I've had ideas I've made and I put on websites and stuff like that. Didn't really move anywhere, but recently I've been coming up with a lot more nerdier, nerd-centric designs. Case in point, here I have Gator Boy, which, for those who know, I have been cosplaying as a Vault Dweller from Vault 954 here in Florida. It spawned off into me wanting to do a whole story. That's another story for another time. But from that, I've been doing other things. I'll show you a little montage of some of the designs I have here as I'm speaking. So, as you can see, I have tons of nerd culture designs. So, I am wanting to bring these to conventions. I would like to perhaps set up a vendor table and display my wares for y'all's to wares. I've never ever done anything like this before. I have no clue what goes into this. I have some inkling of an idea. I've spoken to a couple of people who have done this in the past. I've been doing my own research, which I take with a grain of salt because of the source. But I think I'm headed in the right direction. Now, with all that said, one of my biggest obstacles has always been funding. Before it was having, the tools to be able to do this stuff. Now, as you see, I can make these kinds of designs and be, have them actually turn out really well, in my opinion. So I have the ability to make said designs, but I just need to be able to cover the cost of the table, the stock that I would have at my table, the different shirts in various sizes. I would also like to have little quick buy items like either buttons or stickers of the designs, and perhaps an art print of one of the designs. I'll show you that here, since I've already showed you all the other shirt ideas. This is the design I have for a poster or art print. If anybody who has vendored, if that's even a proper term, been a vendor at a con before, especially here in Florida, let me know. No information will be too much information. Whatever you can tell me, advice is great. So let me get back on point here, because I tend to ramble. I started a GoFundMe for this. This is something I have a passion for. I've been to cons a lot. I see a lot of really good ideas, and not to be boastful in myself, but I really think a lot of my ideas are con worthy, if you will, and stuff I feel like other people within this fan sphere would get. So I see it as something that a lot of people would enjoy. I would just simply put a link here to my Redbubble page, but I am going to do that actually, but I also put a link to the GoFundMe as well. Whatever you can do, I don't care if you give me $1. That's $1 more towards the goal. So having breakdown of the costs here, and please forgive my rambling nature. It's my nature. Being able to pay for the table space, at the convention, being able to get things like tablecloths, like a nice kind of faux velvet or something, so there's no slippage of items off the table, displays for the stickers and buttons, maybe some signage. I do have somewhat of a logo, I'll put it up here, that I'm kind of going with, and a tagline, which is, so the name of the booth would be Ox Bigley's Nerd Culture Designs. It pretty much says what it is on the tin, and then a little tagline underneath, which I need to put on there, which is basically for geeks, nerds, and all our smelly brethren. And I had a hard time saying that for some reason. It's a strong bad reference. If you know, you know. If you don't, it's just a joke. Even if you are one of these smelly brethren, you know. it's an inside joke when it comes to conventions and things. It's not meant to be derogatory. That's why I said our. And all of our smelly brethren. I include myself in that. You know, I live in Florida, and no matter how much degree you slap on you, crap's gonna happen. So, so I group myself in with that. So as you see, I have various genres of things. I got TV, movies, tabletop games, RPGs. I run the gambit here. I even have some of my own creations, such as Gator Boy, the Purple Monster, which actually started as a sketch, which was inspired by something from Homestar Runner, and also the Welcome to the Sunshine Waste sign, welcome sign. It's an actual physical piece I had made up for my my cosplay. I have a yellow and blue lunch pail, or lunch bag rather, that I was bringing to the convention, and I just had it kind of attached to that, so I had, it didn't look like it was necessarily carrying around my lunch, but there's a little bit of added flavor. But anyway, so if this is something that you feel that you would like to help me with, like I said, anything would be appreciated. Even $1. I mean, at least I can go to some of these conventions, go to buy a half a Coke. A lot of these conventions, they had like Disney prices for everything. It's like, oh, you want a water? You're gonna have to take out a loan. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. We know you're dying of heat stroke and dehydration, but you're gonna have to give us literally an arm and a leg. We know your costume won't fit afterwards, but that's why we have cosplay emergency rooms and stuff like that for these things. But I'm just rambling again. So if this is something that you would like to see me successful in, by all means, like I said, anything will be appreciated. I'm not necessarily e-begging, but I just need help. Things are tight right now. I have had a couple of emergencies pop up in my life within the past couple of years. More recently, I had a nice, wonderful surgery that led to a whole week of torture. I'm not getting into that. If you know me, you know. But so that kind of sucked up a week of my real work pay. That so money's tight right now. I'm not able to just go and do this. I'm trying to, at least for the time, maybe get some business cards made up with the QR code to my Redbubble. 5 of my top 5 or 6 designs, and have a buddy of mine who has, if you've seen the video of me doing the cosplay contest, he was the one filming. Steve, he's going to be wearing one of my designs at the next convention we go to, which is going to be Florida SuperCon next month in July 19th, I believe. We're going to be there on Friday. So yeah, this is something that, like I said, I'm really kind of getting emotionally invested into. I'm getting excited about this. I really, really want to do this. And if I can't do it this year, then I at least want to try to do it next year. Provided what I get from my income tax next year, maybe I'll put that into it. I can't count on that because a whole lot of garbage happens and I end up having to owe sometimes and whatever. It sucks. But so I think I've rambled on about 10 minutes here. I'm going to cut this short as I can. if you can help, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for listening to me ramble for 10 minutes incoherently and hopefully a little coherently. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you next time. Maybe at a con. Bye.